Trail talk time. Out on another beauty of a trail. Just breathing in that fresh chi. And today I have a simple message that I wanted to bring forth. And that's, in order to heal, we must feel. Right? There's a beautiful artist. His name is Dustin Thomas, and he has the lyric, "Go ahead and feel your pain to heal your pain." And it's so true on so many levels, right? We have to know where we are in order to know where we're going in life. We can't just skip ahead. We have to, accept fully our present situation, our present moment where we are now. And we can't simply wish to be somewhere else. So as hard as we might want to try, if we have pain in our lives, wishing it away isn't going to work. It's not going to make it go away. And the only way that we can truly heal is to feel it all, right? Once we start to tap into our feelings, then we can start to recognize what's going on within us. We can start to see certain patterns. And that's how we learn how to rewrite them, right? We get so distracted, especially in this day and age, with all this technology, the age of information, where every single second there's new information coming at us or available to us right at our fingertips, right? And it's a blessing, but it's also a double-edged sword, right? Because we can become distracted and continue to let these things bombard us and lose sight of what's going on in our own lives and within us. And it's important to take some time just to be with yourself. It's funny because I'm making this video on my phone in this beautiful forest. This is the perfect place just to be with yourself, be with your own thoughts. And there's a time and a place for everything. There's nothing wrong with using this technology, but it's important to use it and not abuse it or be used by it. To not be taken over by this technology. And it can be tough. Once we start to get used to all this stimulus, this stimulation, and it gives us all these, hits of serotonin, of dopamine, and we become addicted, literally. They've proven this with social media. And it's the same with any type of digital stimulation. If you're not careful, you become addicted. And the more that you become addicted, the harder it is to wean yourself off of it. So it's important to recognize, if we are spending too much time with our devices, with this technology, and start to step back a little bit, step away from that world, and just start to be with ourselves as much as we can. And then we start to open ourselves up to our own energy. We can really feel, what's happening within us, and start to get a sense of these patterns in our lives and, what's causing us to be certain ways. And from this space, there's so much clarity now, and when we can see clearly, then we can start to see the signs in our life that are pointing us in the right direction. And some people look at, a so-called spiritual life or journey as something boring, right? And it's like, that's the ego Always thinking there's got to be something more to do and attach to and grab onto and build onto. But once you start to really get used to being with yourself, being in the silence, the stillness, you realize it's the furthest thing from boring. There's such a divine energy within us, our presence. Just to be present, it truly is a gift. And the more that we're present, just being with ourselves, being with all these thoughts and feelings and emotions that we have, then we can start to learn more about ourselves, right? Know thyself. The most important thing to learn in this world. It's amazing to have all this information at our fingertips that we can learn about the world, learn about life, learn about the universe. But if we don't know ourselves, if we don't know who we are, then we might not be able to use all this information wisely. Two people can be given the exact same information, but it's how we use it that will really bring about the change in our lives. And so in order to start making wise decisions, to become discerning, then we have to know ourselves. We have to know what's right for us. And that's, easiest to do when we can find some time just to be with ourselves. Either with simply, meditating and being in the silence, letting things arise, or, just taking some time to question some things within ourselves and start to, let our mind seek those answers for us, right? Seek and ye shall find. Ask and ye shall receive, the answers that we need in the perfect time, if we allow it, if we're open to receive. But if we're constantly, being stimulated, bombarded, it overloads our senses. And that blocks the signal, right? We're not clear anymore. And me and my friend the other night were talking about, the energy, the vibe, the culture of, big cities, right? And all the stress that we can associate with it, because you simply don't have the space to be with yourself. You're always constantly bombarded with all these other people's energy and all the collective energy around you. So especially if you're in a big city, it's important to find, however you can, some space for yourself, some time to be with yourself. And if you can, a beautiful natural environment like this, away from all the technology and, all of that electricity and EMF waves and everything, right? And this is where the signal is clear. This is our true home. And our body, feels everything more deeply when it's in this natural environment. And our mind is naturally more clear because there's so much space. So instead of always picking up other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, energies, we're tapping into, our own in this connection with Mother Earth. And that little voice within us will start to become more clear, and we'll be guided in the right direction. And we'll know, certain things that we might need to work on or change in our lives, because we'll actually start to feel those things instead of neglecting and shoving them down or turning away from them or simply ignoring them. If somebody is on the sidewalk hurting, just because you turn your back on them and face the other way, it doesn't stop them from hurting, right? And the same goes with ourselves, right? If we have pain, if we're hurting, simply ignoring it, focusing on something else, isn't going to solve it, isn't going to heal it. It's not going to fix the situation. It might even make it worse, right? Sometimes when we don't tend to something right away, it gets bigger, it grows worse. So the clearer that we can be, the better for our lives and for our health. And I understand it's hard sometimes to face things and deal with our pain and our trauma, because it hurts, right? Nobody wants to hurt. But, what's worse, to face it, to face that pain and hurt for a little while, but really find some healing, or to neglect it, to suppress it, to ignore it and let it grow and build, and then we'll just continue to hurt. Sometimes what looks like the easy path in life isn't always the best path for us. Not that our life has to be some struggle, but sometimes we have to face things that will challenge us, and that might cause us some pain, or in this situation, if we have pain, simply facing it, we're going to have to feel that pain in order to heal it. But just like anything, once we get used to doing this, then it becomes easier for us, and we naturally become more in tune with our own energy and, attuned to that process of facing things, really feeling them and learning how to deal with it in a healthy way. And it feels amazing, right? Then we start to just build on that momentum, and we learn how to live our lives like that and guide ourselves more naturally, right? Listening to that inner guidance that's telling us if something's wrong or, something needs to be looked at, right? We can't ignore that anymore. We have to listen to that guidance and follow it. And I'm certainly not perfect, I'm always bombarding myself with things online and watching random videos or whatever. But the more that I, take these lessons for myself, then the better my life just continues to become. And yeah, I just felt like I wanted to share that today. So I hope it's helpful. I hope you realize that, you're worthy of a healthy life. And sometimes it just takes a bit of courage, to face those things in our life that we've been, ignoring, that we've been afraid to face. But the more that we choose courage, ultimately the stronger we become. And that's what we all want to feel in our lives, right? Powerful. So I hope everyone has an amazing and powerful day. And, be courageous, because, you deserve a beautiful life for yourself. And realize that it might not be as hard as you think, right? Infinite Water says fear is false evidence appearing real. So it might appear real, but if you can let love guide you and, stand courageously in the face of anything that you are facing, then you will start to empower yourself more and more every day. So that's it for today. Have an amazing day. Peace and limitless love.